Hello, folks. How are you? I hope all is well. I'm just having me breakfast on the terrace here. Boiled egg and toast. And a cup of Lions tea, obviously. And we need to talk, people, because things are not looking good. Not looking good for Europe. Not looking good for Ireland. Looking good for the world. I seen on YouTube a week or two back that there was a Muslim march in city centre in Dublin that was organised from England, and they all got the boat over, or the planes over, and decided to march in Dublin city centre. And with their speakers, and Allah, and speaking Arab, and doing exactly what they want to do, doing as they please, which kind of got my blood boiling, because people, if Christians, were to go into any of these Arab countries, and do this, and have a march, do a parade in any of their streets, start Jesus Christ and God and all of that, the same as what they're doing in Dublin, Allah. If we were to do that in any of these Arab countries, do you know what would happen to us? We'd be beaten with sticks, thrown into prison for how long, who knows, or even killed. And this is the truth. I'm being honest. This is what would happen to you if Christians went to a Muslim country and decided to speak their language, their God. They'd be stoned, beaten with sticks, thrown in prison. But yet they come over to Dublin and they can do what they please, and nobody bats an eyelid. That for me is like, that frightens me. It really does. What is going on? Why is this being let happen? Croke Park, they're having their mass in Croke Park. Wow, that's crazy. Now, when I say this, I'm not racist. Nothing against Muslims, against Buddhists, against any religion, if you like. Me personally, I was born Catholic Christian. Now, I don't go to mass. My religion is inside here. Is my heart. Is how I approach people, how people approach me, how I treat people, how people treat me. You treat them with clarity, with honesty, with love. For me, and all of that, and a lot more. And that's my religion, if you like, I don't need to go to mass. I don't need to worship. I don't need to, go down on my hands and knees 5 times a day, looking towards the east. And I don't need to do that, because I know there's a God out there, and I know when I am doing right, when I can wake up in the morning and I can look at the mirror and say, you're doing right, I know God knows I'm doing right. And I don't need, I don't need to present it in any other way. I just need to live my life as a good person, and that is religion for me. That's my religion. Now, I'm married into Muslims. My wife, Lord mercy on her, Muslim. My wife now was taken away from me from a car accident, so that's just, it is what it is. And my son, he's half Algerian, half Irish. He says he's French because he was born in France, but for me, he's the blood, half Irish, half Algerian. And me and my wife had said that, before she left us, that we're not going to talk to him about Catholic. We're not going to talk to him about Muslims. We're going to let him find out for himself, and when he's old enough, he can choose. Reason being, because my wedding, none of her side were at my wedding. None of my side neither, but my side is nothing to do with religion. It's because of financially, they're not working. My brothers and sisters, they weren't working. They couldn't get over here to France. My mum wouldn't travel like that. I can understand that. But from her side, it's because of religion. She was thrown out because she met me and fell in love with me. So she threw her out of the house and nobody would talk to her then. Because of religion. So that's why we decided our kids, we will not take them to churches or mosques, or we won't talk about religion. Let them find out for themselves. And when they're old enough and they're intelligent enough, then they can decide. That's what we wanted. That's the way it is with my son. But getting back onto the story in Ireland, like I said, they do what they want. They had their parade, and it got my blood boiling. Now, you have to understand, why all these immigrants are coming into Ireland. And the reason is money only. I'm having my breakfast at the same time I talk to you. Because of money. Every country, if you like, in Europe, every country in the world, they're all in debt to the World Bank, if you like. Excuse me. Because they're getting loans of the European Bank and of the World Bank because there's not enough money coming into their bank account. So every country has a debt with the banks. So what the bank said, what the European Union said, take in these immigrants, we'll pay you for every head, that is everyone you take in, or we take the debt down. So that's why they're taking so many in, because they're getting paid to do so, yeah? Not only that, the problem that I have, is they're looking, the government are looking into the future, the retirement. The retirement now is 67 years old. They're going to try and even put it higher if you want. Reason being, because the higher the age is for retirement, the less people will get to that age and they won't have to pay out that money for nothing. Do you understand? Because they haven't got it. Because there's not enough people working to pay their taxes, to fill the banks with money so they can pay retirement and social welfare and stuff like that. You haven't got the money. And the thing is, we're not populating the world enough. Yeah, you understand? We're not having enough kids, actually. So if you want to bring immigrants in, so they will work, they will pay taxes, money will go into the bank, and then they have money to give back out to the people that are retired and stuff like that. If people don't work, if you don't get people into work, there's going to be not enough money to pay people their retirement. Yeah? And that's why they're freaking out. That's why they're bringing all these people in. Hopefully in 20, 30 years' time, they're going to be working, and they'll fill the banks up, and they'll have enough money to pay the retirement. People that are get retired, and people that are on the dole. Because these people will work. You take them into your country, they will work because they're so happy to get out of their war-torn countries. Some of the countries are not even wars in them. They're just poor countries. And they just want a better life. Listen, if I was going through one of these war-torn countries, if I lived in it, I would get out. Yeah, I would get on that boat, get on a thing and go to a better country where they're going to give me money and feed me and put me in a lovely house. You can't blame them for it. You have to blame the government because they're not controlling it enough. They don't care who they're giving these houses to, or who are they bringing into the country. So that's what it is, because the problem is, people, the average in Ireland, in Europe, the average families are having 2 to 3 kids, in average. These Arabs, average, they'll have 6 kids to a family, to a couple. So they're thinking, there you go, that's going to have a big effect on the economy when the money's coming in, when they're working and stuff like that. But here's where it gets frightening. 100,000 immigrants were brought into Ireland in 2024. 100,000. Now, they're all men. Most of them are men, huh? Say 80%. We'd say they're all men. Now, if the Irish are having 2 kids to a family here, and the Arabs are going to have 6 to a family, think about it. We're a population of, what, let's say 5 million, yeah? So, 100,000, they're going to have 6 kids. 20 years' time, 6 kids. In 40 years' time, an extra 6 kids. What I reckon is, and what I'm worried about, is in between 20 and 40 years' time, people, Ireland will become a Muslim country. It'll be Catholic, obviously, but there'll be more Muslims in it than there will be Christians. And Europe will become the same. They will take over if we don't put a stop to it, if we don't put a control on it now. Let the families come in, no problem. The ones that work, no problem. The ones that don't have, what can I say, no charge sheets, they're not criminals. Get the criminals out, because there's so many of them. If it's controlled, then there's no problem, yeah? It works, we'll all work hand in hand. Because the good ones are coming and get the bad ones out. We don't mind that. Us Irish are like that. We're open arms, we love people. But it has to be controlled. And I'm just worried because it's not being controlled. The government are thinking of the future, as in money, but they're not thinking of how bad it's going to be. How the Catholics are going to be how can you say it? They're going to take over, if you like. Yeah, there's going to be more Muslims than Catholics in 20 and 40 years' time because of they're having so many kids. We're not having enough, and Europe will be Muslim. And the Muslims, the way they treat people, the way they treat their wives, the way they treat their kids. I've seen it. I see it over here. It's going to be. It's frightening. It's actually frightening. I don't know. I can't put the words on it. I can, but I don't want to curse. I don't want to, you know. So there you go, people. We have to get a hold of this. We have to control it. We have to get out onto the streets. We have to, you know. I know we are doing it okay. Everyone, they're out on the streets and they're screaming, but it's not changing anything for the moment. I don't know where the solution is. I really don't. Because when it comes to money, money talks, yeah. And the government go by that. So yeah, so there you go. Just a little. I've been thinking about it. I've been worried about it. And if we don't put a stop on it, in between 20 and 40 years' time, Europe, Ireland and Europe will be Muslim. And I've lived with them, I live around them here in France. You know, there's a majority that are really nice, super people. My sister-in-laws, they're brilliant, they're great for me, they're great for my son. But when it comes to the men, to be honest with you, it's a different kettle of fish. It's a different kettle of fish, it's a different mindset. And we need to put a stop to this. We need to control it. We need the solution. Who has the solution? I don't know. Put a comment on. Let me know. Let me know what if anyone has any ideas. You know. But there you go. That's just my little rant for today. We need to be careful. You know. Press them buttons, people. I love you all. Yeah. Keep up the good fight in the heart, you know, the good fight, not a physical fight, the good fight here and here. Like and subscribe, Gary Slice of Life. And yeah, and be careful, take care.